Hello and welcome to episode 109 of the Back Nine Six Pack. My name is Mitch, joined as always by my esteemed colleague Justin. I officially got the Father's Day gift, so thank you.
Yeah, hell yeah. I know. It was so hard. I was like, maybe you got it that morning, but I had to get you guys matching. You and your partner got matching shirts. I was really hoping you'd be at the champions dinner. Maybe you guys could wear those together. But I think you're probably not going to be at the champions dinner this year. Maybe next year.
Yeah, no, we'll see where it takes us. But yeah, shirt's awesome. So anybody listening, Justin hooked me and Gunth up with an Old Course T-shirt. Very nice, very nice athletic style shirt. Very soft. Yeah,
The TASC, man. I don't know if they pronounce it that's just what I know it as. Maybe Task, that could be it. But that's a hell of a brand. It's slowly becoming my favorite workout brand. It's the shirts are solid.
yeah. I don't know when to make I got to figure out when to debut this shirt. The problem now is that Gunth has it, so I got to be aware of that.
I was hoping you didn't see me hand it to him because I wanted you guys to accidentally wear them on the same day.
Yeah, no, definitely didn't spoil a surprise or anything. Did not connect any dots there, so we're all good.
Awesome.
But yeah, thank you for that. Got that yesterday afternoon from the kids, so that was cool.
It was very hard to wait that long. So,
yeah. Did you get anything from the girls?
I got to golf.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
No presents this year. I got the golf, and they kind of we went down to the pool, and they just kind of let me hang, and
let you exist.
I'm not a big the problem is I'm very much the person that if I want something, I'm just going to buy it.
Same.
So it's really hard, and I made this rule a while ago, especially for Christmas. I'm like, I don't need any, don't give me anything. Cause if I want it or I need it, I buy it in the moment. So no gifts, but we had a heck of a day down at the pool after golf, and that was all I needed. So
I would say shout out to Susie. She's very good about helping the boys come up with something sentimental to give me. So last year they did a little tie drawing thing or whatever. This year it was they use their footprints to make something. So it's these little things that it's not something you buy or whatever, but you throw it in a box, and then 20 years from now I'll uncover it and it's got the kid's little footprint or whatever on it.
Yeah, I take that back. I did get something from the youngest one. She gave at daycare or preschool. They made spices. They mixed the spices together, so it's like a steak seasoning or a chicken seasoning you can use, but they mixed them together and came with a nice card. So yeah, I did get something, so I shouldn't say that, but yeah, I won't use the seasoning. She wants me to use the seasoning. I won't. I'm going to save it. And like you said, 20 years from now, you're going to open a box and be like, oh yeah, I remember getting this. And you'll know the year and everything you got it. So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, once again, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Hope everybody had a great Father's Day. We'll talk a little U.S. Open here in a bit, but if you are here, please smash that like button, subscribe, rate, and review the show. Follow us on social media at Back9Sixpack. We'll get to fan mail later in the show. If you want to send us some, that's always down in the show description. Just click that link. We played some golf yesterday.
Yeah, we did. We had a great day, too.
We did, yeah. It was only almost sprinkled once. And otherwise dodged it. It was really good weather. Not too hot. Can't complain.
I'll say this. I think at this point I'm batting 900 when it comes to weather predictions. I said I was feeling pretty good about it before most of the stations were saying they were feeling pretty good about maybe not it looked like a washout. According to most meteorologists, about Tuesday, would you say?
Yeah.
But I was by Tuesday, Wednesday, I was saying I think we're gonna be okay. Turned out to be a beautiful day. Like I said, just a couple sprinkles, but that was about it.
Yeah, there's I haven't played an early morning weekend round for quite a while. There's just something about it, man. It just hits different when you show up to the club. You see a whole bunch of people
Yep.
where you're kind of shooting the shit for a bit while you're warming up putting and everything, and the dew on the ground, it's just so good.
There's no, I love my Friday afternoon game but there's just nothing like getting up, having that anticipation, getting up, and we did a little Waffle House run before going to the course. There's just nothing better than that. There really is not.
No, not at all. Yeah, so we had a little group of 12, had a little money game going. I haven't done that in forever, so that was fun to do as well. Just such an up and down day of golf. That's all I can really describe it as. There was so many. I was fighting myself. I was fighting the course. I was just like, I don't know. It was not good, but it was like not. It was one of those days where it felt like you didn't put a good number up, but like you might have deserved better. Except like you, it was so many self-inflicted wounds, dude. That's how my round went.
Yeah, I got the most out of my round. I hit the ball pretty good. I think it could have been better, but I think for the most part, when I say that it could have been better, I think it could have maybe been a shot or two. But I look at it and I go, there was a couple putts I made. I'm like, man, it could have been 2 or 3 higher than what I had. So, I hit it in the hazard on our 4th hole. Made par. Like I hit it on the green, made about a 20-foot par putt. So you have that, but then I had a 3-putt, inexplicable double bogey on a par 3. At one point I had it at 3 under, then doubled, and just out of nowhere. I don't really even know what happened. It's kind of one of those, like, you finish a hole, you're like, God dang, I just hit the ball 5 times. It's just like it happened so fast. But I think for the most part, I played. It felt good. That was like the first true round of golf that I'm like, okay, it felt pretty sturdy, right? Like it didn't feel like it was very breakable, like at any moment. So it felt good to have a round like that.
I went 43-41, smooth 84. You played with Gunth. He also shot 84, 38-46. 2 very different rounds. I was telling Joe after the fact, I was like, dude, I was inventing bogeys, like creating them out of thin air. I hit the ball so good off the tee for the most part. And it was just like bogey city from the center of the fairway.
That sucks.
I don't know how you felt, but was the ball like carrying for you?
No. It took about 5 or 6 holes before we were like, guys, like the ball's just going 10 yards less.
Our group felt the opposite.
Oh, really? See, So we got about 10 holes in, and all of a sudden the ball, like the air was not as heavy, and the ball started kind of flying normally. Because I had a couple shots that I'm like, all right, I'm going to club up here just because it's not carrying, and then, hit them past, or, I like hit the brack fringe on a hole. But yeah, I didn't think it was carrying at all. I actually thought it was, the air was very heavy. You could feel the moisture in the air. I mean, it was after that rain on Saturday, and then the sun wasn't out, but it was definitely trying to find a way out. And it was kind of getting some of that water off the ground, and it got humid. And I really don't think it was flying. Maybe you had a different experience.
I think part of it is my own doing here, where like I've put my mind in an absolute pretzel with irons in my hands right now. Because last year I got the new irons, right? That was like an automatic club and a half difference or so. This offseason, go through speed training. It doesn't really matter off the tee. You're just hitting it farther, right? Like that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm hitting clubs like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to hit 9 here because there's no way I'm going to hit this 9 iron over 160.
Yeah.
And I'm just freaking airmailing greens with 9 irons, dude. Like I can't, I don't play enough to like know and to like be able to adjust. And then when there's like you said, kind of like it felt like the middle of the round, the ball started jumping a little more. Yeah. And just like trying to account for that, you're already kind of like in your head about what you're hitting. I missed so many greens long. Like it was just unbelievable.
Interesting.
So I don't know. I got some figuring out to do right now with the distance control.
Yeah, my distance control inside 100 yards is less than ideal. I kind of got away with one on one of the par 5s. I had like 60 yards, hit it 25 feet short and made the putt, right? But I had another one, I was like 60, 70 yards, and I just wasn't hitting them hard enough. Like I was just, and they were always to back pins. I just was not hitting it far enough, like worrying about hitting it over. So yeah, I lacked a little bit of distance control with some wedges in my hand. But all in all, I mean, my front nine was, I birdied the second hole, had some decent looks at birdie. None of them really fell. I had a 3-putt and shot 36. On the back nine, we started getting a little more volatile. I started out with 3 pars, but then, had 2 birdies in a row or 3 birdies in a row, and then had that double. It was kind of a little more volatile on the back nine, but yeah, the distance control with wedges was kind of my one area. And this year, for whatever reason, I've got like one loose swing, like 1 or 2 loose swings in a round. And it doesn't cost me like, oh, I'm going to shoot 78 or 79. Like it's the difference between shooting like 68 or 69 and like shooting 71 or 72 or 73. Like I shot 71 yesterday. So if I can just clean up that like one loose, it's a lack of focus, I think, is what it's really coming down to.
Yeah, I was also telling Joe yesterday, I was like, I feel like, not that I've fixed it, but I've addressed sort of what I felt like was my biggest weakness, was like the off the tee game. And now I'm just like trying to plug holes in the other parts of my game that I thought were fine. Like I 3-putted like I think 3 times yesterday, which is like unheard of for me.
You don't 3-putt that much.
And but I also made 5 1-putts. Now those were like saving bogeys and stuff because I was airmailing greens, but just like a lot of like you said, lack of concentration. I'm on I finally hit a green or whatever, then all of a sudden, okay, now I'm gonna 3-putt. Like just like repeatedly, like I said, inventing bogeys, whether it was from the middle of the fairway or 30 feet from the hole. So
yeah, I get that.
Clean up. That's all. But did take home closest to the pin yesterday. That was cool. Get a little kickback because I did not contend for the front or the back nine. Sorry, Pat.
I got it close to the pin. I won some money in the team game. Pulled my guy that I was riding with the whole day. We get done and we're like, man, if we pull each other, like our back nine was pretty good. He had a couple net birdies. I had 4 birdies on the back. Like we were like, we might be in business here if we pull each other. We ended up pulling each other and we did win the back. So shout out to Jason. Hell of a day we had, me and him riding together, playing with my dad and my brother. We had a great time and then ended up winning some money. I think I might have been the big winner in the group, winning a closest to the pin. I didn't get a skin, but I won a close to the pin and a back nine. So
it's probably pretty close. Cause I want to say, I think Griffin won a couple skins and a closest to the pin, but you probably did pull the most if I had to guess. So.
Yeah. So felt good. I don't get to do that much in those blind draw games. So it felt good to get a little cash in my pocket.
Yeah. That's always nice. All right. Other golf this weekend. So took Zach out on Friday afternoon, little pre-Father's Day 9 holes. This is his first time playing with his new set of clubs we got him for his birthday. He's been to the range a few times, things like that. It is crazy the year, like the difference between last year and this year and how he can play and hit the ball now. And it's freaking cool, man. It's so exciting. Like I'm so pumped up. He loved it. Loved every second of it. My guy shot 80 in 9 holes. We counted them all.
Hell yeah.
But I created his own par for him. So like it was loosely double par per hole. Par was 72 for him, but I think I gave him 5 shots on par 3s and 11 on a par 5 because the distance of those holes.
Yeah.
So yeah, he technically shot 8 over. He chipped in for a quote unquote eagle on the very last hole.
That's so cool.
I know, his first ever chip in, he lost his mind. He was so pumped. I was so pumped. I don't think I've ever, even my ace, like I didn't react the way I did to him chipping in there. It was the coolest shot ever. He made 2 legit 5s on the par 3s.
Wow. Okay.
He tied me on 5 red. I doubled it and he made a 5. And then he, like I said, chipped in for that 6. So, he took a 17 on a par 5. That was tough. But otherwise, like I was so, what I was most impressed about was his putting. His speed control has come a long way from where it used to be. Usually kids get up there, they just whack it around a bunch.
Yeah.
He was like legitimately, keeping it under control in a way that I wasn't expecting. So just one of those good for the soul rounds. Yeah, I just that's the way you want to start a weekend.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That sounds like a blast. We're gonna now that summer's here, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna take the oldest one for sure out, and because she's kind of like, I've never played. She plays the PGA Junior League. She's like, I've never played 9 holes, just my own ball. And I was like, we'll go out, and I think it's gonna be cool for me because it's not gonna be anything related to like swing or any. We're not gonna work on any. We're gonna work on like thinking our way through a golf course. I noticed we only got to play 2 holes in our Saturday match. Typically, I'm a scorekeeper for our team, so I'm not involved in the match, but I'm trying to like move things along, right? Like pick up balls, and because there's a scramble format. So, but I just noticed she just does, and this is normal, right? Like she just doesn't know how to think her way through a golf course, like problem solve when she's, it's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And then she starts getting hurried and things like that, not reading greens. Like, so I think it'd be cool to go out there, play 9 holes, like walk her through, like, all right, here's what I do. Like, okay, I'm putting, here's my routine. Like this is, and maybe come up with a routine because I think that'll really, really help her. So that's on the docket here probably next week because she's at camp this week. So
yeah, the fun part right now with Zach is it's pretty much just like, dude, just hit this as hard as you can.
Yep.
He's still at that stage of it all. But yeah, I'm just so excited that he's like thrilled and wants to do it. He's doing another junior clinic here coming up too. He wanted to do that instead of trying a different sport or whatever. So who knows? We're gonna see where it goes. But right now, I'm liking the trajectory.
Well, I'm pumped for when he can play junior league because you'll be out there with me.
Yeah, I think next year it could be next year.
Yeah, I think it's 7. I think 7 years old. I think they can sign up for it. So
yeah, he's 7 now, but this is I think next year he'll be like way more prepared for it.
I'd be remiss to not mention this. So we had a skills challenge out at our course. Put a hell of an event on, very much like the drive, chip, and putt. A little different, but my oldest daughter came in second. She qualified for the finals in October. Did okay in the driving. Had a couple that she hit 150, 160 yards. That's not where the points are made. Points are made in the chipping and putting. Didn't do too well in the chipping. She was kind of down on herself. Did amazing in the putting. Almost made 2 of them. Hits the other one, the longest one, the 30-footer up to like a foot. Ends up qualifying. So shout out to Evelyn. I liked. She doesn't have a lot. She's one of those kids that just like when things start going the wrong way, like she doesn't have like a lot of resolve, but she showed a lot of resolve, which we've kind of talked about just in life in general, like showing some resolve, like with school. And so it was cool to see her like in the moment, kind of show some resolve and, stay positive and end up doing, well enough in the putting to make it, to move on. So.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. You mentioned that you somehow raised a good putter. But I didn't realize she came in second.
2 of them. It's unbelievable. I can't believe it. Like, there was people making comments like, "There's no way those are your kids." Like, there's no way. But my middle one did it too, and the highlight of that is I got it on video. She's doing the driving. She's just so happy-go-lucky, dude. There's nothing that bothers her in the entire world. She hits her first drive, hits it good, but it clips a tree. And it like starts bouncing down the cart path, hits another tree, kicks back into the grid, and they were able to count it. Wow. They went like 140 yards after some cart path love. But she's just like all smiles. Like she took 30 seconds to hit her next ball because she was laughing so hard at what happened. Completely different kids that I have playing golf right now. So
that's awesome. So good. I think you're about to enter your competitive golf time of year here.
Yeah, we are.
I wrote it down on here just to check in where you're at and what all's coming up for you.
So, let me, I guess, start Wednesday.
Yep.
We start our trek to get back to the finals in the 2-man match play. We've got our first match in that, me and Ryan. So we got that Wednesday. I got an outing Thursday, but our club championship moved this year. It's usually in August. Got moved to June, which I don't hate too much. It is a little busier time as far as like kids sports go, but our club championship is Saturday and Sunday. And then Monday, the Met starts. So this time next week, we'll be talking about how my first round went in the Met. No tee times yet. I don't know what course I'm starting out on, but essentially how our city championship works is they have an anchor public course, which is Elks Run. It's a Greg Norman design. It's a good course, other than they don't have fringes, which I still don't understand. Great, it's a good course, and then they rotate it to a private course, and then the private course also hosts the match play. This year's private course is Coldstream, which I love Coldstream so much. I think the cut's going to be pretty high this year. If it plays anything like it did in the Mid-Am last year, or even remotely close, cut's going to be pretty high. So it's a good challenge. I cannot wait to get back out there and redeem my 88 in the final round of the Mid-Am. So, but yeah, a lot of golf coming up. A lot of golf. So
we hopefully we don't get any Titanic reels that you have to make this year.
My hope, again, my goal this year is just to make match play. I want to get back in match play.
Yeah.
I've been carrying around my money clip that I got 2 years ago from making match play. It says like qualifier, and all that. So I'm been carrying that around with me the last 2 weeks, hoping that it rubs off and we get back in match play, get us another shot at finally advancing to the round of 32.
Oh, love that. Yeah, one shout out to our guy Trevor. He actually played Elks Run this past weekend. Said the greens were rolling, so buckle up, pal.
Yeah, and that's the tough part about it. Like, they're so big. If you just get on the wrong side of a green, like, you might be on the green, but you get on the wrong side of the green, it's a long putt, a lot of slopes in those greens. So you got to make, you're almost better being on the right side of the green, just chipping sometimes. Like, rather than having a 60 or 70 foot putt with 4 different breaks in it. So it is a good course. There's a few holes that I'm not a big fan of out there, but for the most part, it's a really good course. And I'm glad they finally kind of found a staple course to kind of hold it at every year and then rotate the private. I think that's a really good, so shout out to GCGA. I think that's a really cool way to kind of rotate it into private courses, but also keep a public course as well.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, speaking of 60-foot putts, JJ Spaun is your U.S. Open champion. He made a 64-foot birdie putt to clinch it on the last hole, in case anybody missed that.
Me.
Yeah, you. I believe that was the longest putt made of the entire week at Oakmont, and he just so happened to do it in the winning moment, which is pretty remarkable.
What an incredible! I mean, I'm sad I missed it. I will say this: I went back, I found out what happened, and went back and watched it. Waking up at 5:45, some drinks afterwards, a little pool drink. Dad was tired, so I fell asleep when he was teeing off on 18 and missed the putt. But dude, what an incredible story he is! And just in general, I think it's I love when just like guys just don't give up on themselves. Specifically in this tournament, right? He had every reason to give up on himself, but that putt was truly incredible. Like, it's going to be a U.S. Open moment for forever, probably at this point.
100%, especially with Oakmont being an anchor site and kind of being like I said on the preview show, like the bluest of blue blood courses for the USGA.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be replayed for eternity as long as they're hosting this tournament. That's part of the highlight package. So, he began Sunday 3 under, 1 shot off the lead. Bogeyed 5 his first 6 holes to a front 940. That's tough. He was 4 shots back. And also, just for the record here, this is the first time since 1913 that someone shot a 40 or more higher on the opening 9 and still won.
Wow.
That was Francis Ouimet back then. But following the weather delay, 4 birdies on the back 9. These were his birdies. A 40-footer on 12, which was like, he hit that putt like it was going 10 feet if you didn't see that one.
I did see that, yeah.
A 22-footer on 14. He hits, before the putt, the shot of the tournament was his drive on 17 to drive the green.
Absolutely incredible.
Almost aced it. Like, it was, he took a look. Then he 2-putts that for birdie, which gave him the lead. So he's up by 1 playing the last hole and needs a par to win. And then, of course, hold the longest putt of the tournament to lock things up. But yeah, like you said, all kinds of stories around this one. Did you see his press conference where he talked about his daughter being sick?
Yeah. The ultimate, like, beginning of Father's Day, right? running out to CVS at 3:00 in the morning because his daughter's puking nonstop, to winning the U.S. Open like 14 hours later. It's pretty incredible.
Exactly. So he's had before this one career win is the 2022 Valero Texas Open. He didn't play any of the majors last year. Wasn't qualified for any of them. This was just his second U.S. Open, and he wins it. Your boy Monday Q Info kind of gave a quick rundown of his career just for anybody that hasn't seen this or doesn't know. In 2013, he made barely $12,000 on the Canadian Tour.
Wow.
2014 made one cut and $825 in Canada. 2015, he wins the Order of Merit in Canada. 2016, finished third in Korn Ferry Tour points and earned his PGA Tour card. 2017, 97th in FedEx Cup points. 2018, 62nd. 2019, 99th. And then in 2020, he was 185th and lost his card. Back to the Korn Ferry Tour finals, finished second to get his core card back. 2021, 174th in points, but kept his card because of the COVID rules. 2022, this is kind of where the glow up happens. He wins, so he's 34th in points that year. 2023, 62nd. 2024, 98th. Like I said, didn't really have a great year. This year comes in second at the Players and loses in play after Rory McIlroy and then wins the U.S. Open. It's just incredible. Incredible.
I know it's going to sound corny, but it's like, it's truly like you just don't know like where your success is going to come, right? Like he could have easily given up so many, probably after one of those Canadian Tour years, right? This guy just keeps plugging away, and even last year, right? He's struggling a little bit. He's still making good money, but he's struggling. And then to have the year he's having, and I think I sent you a message with the current Ryder Cup standings. As sad as I am about how this team's taken form, I think it's really cool to watch guys like realize their dreams like that after such a long road. And he's pretty much clinched a spot on this team, I would say, winning a major in the year that the Ryder Cup's going to happen. I mean, that's how Wyndham Clark made it a couple years ago, winning that LACC. So he's going to be on the team. I will tell you, though, he's a little guy, but he is a fucking stone cold killer. I mean, he is. And I'm excited more about him being on a team than a couple other guys.
I agree with you on that. Mainly just because he's a ball striker. Like, just give me the ball strikers.
Yeah.
That's what you need. And he's improved his distance the last year or so. So it's not like Bethpage would be too much for him. I think he's definitely earned a look. If he doesn't qualify automatically, he's going to be right there in the conversation for a pick. Yep. Do you know where he's ranked in the world right now? This blew my mind.
So I think I might have heard it. Maybe before the win, I think I heard it. He's like 30th, isn't he?
He just moved into 8th place with this win.
Holy shit.
Number 8 in the world.
Wow.
Now, I know the live stuff kind of fudges that a little bit, but...
Okay, let's just add all of them back in, right? He's probably still top 20. You know what I mean? Which is incredible.
Easily. There's probably only like 3 guys that would jump in front of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Rom, Hatton, and Bryson.
Yeah.
Beyond that, it's like...
But I'm just saying, like, even if you add all those guys back in, he's probably still top 10.
Yeah. Neiman, too. Sorry, I forgot about the number 1 player in the world.
Top 10, top 15. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Best golfer in the world. Can't forget about him.
Who also missed the cut this week, of course. Yeah, incredible. It's here we got to kind of like know him a little better at the Players. Before that, it was kind of like I always knew he was
this guy. Yeah,
I knew he was a good ball striker. I knew from playing DFS and all this other stuff over the years, like the putter always would let him down. But yeah, just getting this a little more of a look at him and hearing him talk more and stuff. He seems like such a good dude. So
yeah, he really, really does. Yeah,
it's been cool. So that's a well-deserving champion. And yeah, like I think when we talked about where we'd want to win a U.S. Open, I remember saying that Oakmont was kind of my choice. I think.
Yeah, it's pretty high up there. Yeah,
like, you're the only guy that finishes under par, and
that's pretty solid.
Freaking U.S. Open. That's a really good feather in the cap for your career.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward. There's some guys on the list that are looking like they're going to be on a team that I'm not excited about, but I'm excited about it. Look, there's nothing more I'd love for him to go out there and start steamrolling guys. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, and Lab Golf is probably printing money at this point. If they haven't already been doing so. For the record, look them up. Did not realize how expensive those putters are.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, not cheap. Before we get down the leaderboard here a little bit, quick question, just like on Oakmont. What'd you think? How to play for you? What'd you like about it? What'd you not like?
The only thing I think it's an unbelievable setting for the U.S. Open. Yeah. Some of those shots, and I know there's not fans of people, or people that are not fans of cutting down most of the trees, but that shot, like when someone was on 10 or 1 behind them, they're shooting out, like watching that shot, and you can just see the whole course out in front of you.
Yeah.
Over the turnpike. I think that was an incredible view. I don't know how that you can be upset about that. But I think all in all, it might be the U.S. Open course, right? The only thing that sucked is we got rain the last couple of days. That probably made it a little softer. I think on Saturday and Sunday, barring no rain, we could have really seen some serious carnage.
Yeah, I'm always curious, like if they got like a significant amount of rain, so maybe that also made things tougher, because there's always like that in between, right? If they had only gotten so much rain, like it probably would have made it easier.
Yeah,
but I think they got enough that it was like, and it was also a factor.
Well, and the course started playing really long too. You know what I mean? I think the water ball that Sam Burns had on, what was that, 15?
Yeah.
It was by far the longest club he had into that green all week, because drive's not rolling. Like his drive literally landed and went sideways. You know what I mean? So when you're not getting 30 yards of roll, like, and you're playing a 500-yard par 4, like that hole is going to be so much longer now than it was. So yeah, I think you're right in that. But I think JT said it. I think he might have tweeted it out, or maybe he said in his press conference, he was like, I can't even imagine this course like just with an ounce of firmness in it, like how this would have played. You definitely wouldn't have been able to roll the greens at 15 and 16. I really don't think you could. But I think you could have seen some serious carnage if there was a little bit of firmness. But other than that, unbelievable setting for the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I think that's like the difference between this and a lot of courses we've seen majors at recently is like it held up against that. Every other time we've had rain or stuff like this, all of a sudden it becomes a birdie fest, and they're playing ball in hand and all this stuff. In Oakmont, I mean, one guy under par, and that's. I just think it holds up no matter the conditions. I am waiting and begging, pleading, please, can we stop having majors affected by weather? Because it feels like every single one for the last 5 years.
Yeah, I know.
Waterlogged.
Yep.
But yeah, Oakmont's awesome. And it's different to me than all the other courses where it's like just long, rough, and narrow crap. Like you see it at Torrey, you kind of get it at Muirfield, some of these other places. And it's just different. I don't know how it manages to play different than those courses, but it does. And yeah, it's awesome. It's such a good watch.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I think the formula for really making it hard for these guys is there's got to be penalties, right? And what I mean by that is like not just including the rough, like the fairway bunkers. Like how many times I know I didn't see it, and I'm not saying it didn't happen, but how many times like I never saw a guy be in a fairway bunker and hit the green, like. Be able to advance it and hit the green like that. That to me is like, that's how you kind of control the scores on these guys is like, if you hit it in a bunker, it's a penalty, right?
Yeah.
You might be able to advance it, but you're not going to advance it onto the green. And now it's like, now you're staring par down, right? Like birdie's not even an option. Some of these courses, the bunkers just aren't deep enough or whatever it might be that, a bunker's not even a penalty. Hell, some of the times you'll see guys like aiming for bunkers, right? They're like, oh, I just hit it in there. But that wasn't the case this week, with some of the bunker settings and the greens and things like that. So I think it's kind of the blueprint, long rough, properly placed bunkers with lips, high enough lips that is a true penalty. I think that really puts a premium on like driving the ball well, and driver setting up an iron shot. So, and I love the fact that people hated it. That I've read a lot of comments that are like it was a driving contest. Well, yeah, it kind of was, but how many times did you see guys this weekend hit the fairway and then miss the green?
Right.
It's like it happens all the time. So no, I think it was an incredible setup. And I can't wait till we go back there again. I think 2000, was it like 33 or 31 or something like that? So,
I think it's 33. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I just kind of came to me as we were talking here too, is like what I love about Oakmont too, or this type of setup at least. A lot of courses, a lot of tournaments, you'll get this like you can almost predict what score someone's going to get to because it's like, all right, that's a birdie hole coming up, that's a birdie hole coming up, and you just like know in your head like what the effective score is or what the real lead is. And yesterday, once you got to that point where the car wreck happened on 11 with Burns and Scott, and they both double, there was like endless possibilities.
Well, yeah, and
you had no idea what was going to happen.
And everybody's like, "Well, 17's a birdie hole." Yeah, but I also watched a lot of guys double that hole this week, so you just don't know. I mean, just because it's short doesn't mean anything. And I think I think this course does really mean like if you look at 8 and 17, right? They're par 3, par 4. They're probably about this. Maybe 17's a hair longer. They played almost pretty equivalent to each other as far as score. That's like par is irrelevant, especially in a tournament like this when, you've got, you're going to be around even or maybe one under. Yeah, par is irrelevant at that point. It's about not making doubles and not making a ton of bogeys. So, but you're right. There's a lot of different outcomes. I'm like, look, 17's short, but there's not a guaranteed birdie, right? No. So there's just an 18's a bear, Mm-hmm. So it was cool to kind of go through the like what's going to happen, kind of thing. Because it wasn't like, well, he's going to birdie 17, so he'll probably have a one-shot lead. It's not like that at all. So
right. Yeah, it was. God, it was so sick. All right, down the leaderboard a little bit here. Second place. Here's another thing about this tournament. Lots of just like going into Saturday and stuff. It was like 1 through 5 was like all one shot back of another. You didn't have like 12 guys tied for 6th or whatever. It was very staggered leaderboard. Big Shot Bob, Robert McIntyre, +1, second place.
I'm not gonna lie, I found myself rooting for him a little bit down the stretch.
So did I. I don't mind Bob.
Yeah.
Third place, Victor Hovland. This was my cheering interest, of course. I felt like I thought I had it, man. I thought I called my shot on the pod last week, predicting this, and
it was looking good for a little bit.
God, he just hit it. He hit it so good and could not freaking putt. And then it was just like, if he couldn't putt, he couldn't. The next hole, it was like he was going to mess up the iron shot or whatever. But yeah, just watch Victor Hovland at courses where it's thick rough around the greens.
It just negates his weakness, right? Like everybody's going to struggle to chip the ball when it's that bad.
Yeah. So that's just keep an eye on him. I think he might be back. We'll see. T4, Tyrrell Hatton, Scam Young, and Carlos Ortiz at +3. T7, Burns falls all the way back to here, along with Scotty Scheffler and our one and done pick, John Rahm, with an ultimate just backdoor T7. I think he shot 67 before the weather hit and just kind of chilled. So, and then tie for 10th, Ben Griffin continues his run, and Russ Henley, another top 10 in the U.S. Open for Russ.
Yeah, and a lot of possible Ryder Cup names in there for the U.S.
Definitely.
Don't hate that they're playing better. I like some of these guys are really kind of coming into form. Like, dude, Ben Griffin, he's like on a heat. He's kind of on a heater right now. Like, it's kind of crazy. He's one of those guys fighting for a Ryder Cup spot. I feel for Sam Burns. I think he got bamboozled on 15.
Yeah.
If you look at the letter of the law, the rule, it doesn't take much for you to get relief. And actually think about this, like when you play in an amateur tournament, like if your playing partners agree, you drop, right? Like there's not even a rules official that's needed. So, and I think if he went to his playing partner, was like, this is standing water, his playing partner probably would have agreed. So I thought he got bamboozled. I felt really bad for him. He didn't play the greatest coming down the stretch, but it all kind of led to that, and it kind of snowballed after that. So, because he had the lead sitting in 15 fairway when he hit that shot. So
it's tough.
But still, nonetheless, a good finish. He seems like he's kind of coming in the form a little bit here too.
Yeah, I kind of want to pay attention to this. I have nothing in front of me that would suggest this, but there's a point this weekend where I was looking at the leaderboard and I was like, this kind of looks like a Valspar leaderboard,
A little bit. Yeah.
and I just want to remember that for future U.S. Opens at Oakmont. That could be a corollary because it's just like these guys that I mean, all of them like they're the guys that are hitting the fair. They're not necessarily bombers. They're not necessarily supreme accuracy players, but it's guys that are hitting fairways and hitting greens.
Yep. A lot of ball strikers on that top 10 list,
That's
too,
what
by
I'm
the way.
saying.
Like, there's some serious flushers of the golf ball. Like Bobby Mack, he doesn't hit the ball real far, but the guy is an unbelievable iron player. I don't think anybody can disagree with that. But he's pretty straight, too. He doesn't miss many fairways. Yeah, and like Hovland, ball striker, Hatton, ball striker. Like, Cam Young is, as much as he is a scam, is a ball striker, right? Like,
I think Ortiz led the field in approach this week.
yeah, he's a ball striker too. And then Rahm, Scheffler, those are all like top tier ball strikers. And that's why, Colin kind of had a little bit of a run there for a little, in the beginning of the tournament, but because he's a ball striker and he's hitting, but I don't know what happened to him, but he started out strong and it just kind of fell apart. So
I had it on in the background a lot on Thursday and Friday, and he was out there in the featured groups, and it was just a lot of like, he was like me yesterday. Mistakes from the middle of the fairway.
Yeah.
It's like missed clubs, either coming up short or hitting it long where you can't be, and it was just snowballed on him.
Which, for being a generational iron player, that is surprising from him. Yeah. I just thought it was going to be a struggle for him to get in the fairway, but I'm like, if he can hit fairways, this could be his tournament. Yeah. But
I mean, he's got Joe Griner on the bag, and there was just a lot of conversations with them. And I don't know if that's typically how Colin approaches it, if he's that analytical or into the details of every shot like that. But
see, I don't think he is. I think he's very, when he went through his struggles a couple years ago, he was like talking about going out and just feeling his cut on the range, not like getting too technical. So maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe, because I think Max Homa is probably more of a technical player, having those conversations than say Colin is. So.
And I think Joe and JT won together too at the Heritage, and that feels like they would be. JT's the same way, very much into the process. So
yep,
I don't know. It was a little weird watching it, is all, because it felt like he was like ready to explode, like ready to go, and just never got out of the gear he was in.
Nope.
T23 for him, along with our king Jordan Spieth. Did not think this was a course fit for Jordan. He's still driving it really well. Just can't seem to bring the irons and putter with it. So,
he had me hooked for Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're rolling. Like, I watched his round. He was in one of the feature groups, and I'm watching. I'm like, our guy's at +3. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, man, we can find a way to get in at like +3. Like he's going to be like 5 back, maybe 6. But I think the final score, I kept thinking the final score was like even. Like, if you can think the final score is going to be even, like, he's going to be right in the mix of things going into Sunday. Throws in a triple, then bogeys the next hole, and the next thing you know, he's at 7 over, and it's pretty much over with. So,
yeah, some other notables too. T12 for Xander and Brooks. Xander kind of just like has it in cruise control right now. Feels like he's not quite there, but he's still around. Brooks, this was a good bounce back for him. It's been a while.
Yeah, he needed that
in a major. He talked in his presser a lot about, his swing coach kind of getting in his ass and firing him up a little bit. So that, maybe something to watch. He played well last time in Portrush in 2019. So could be something to monitor heading into the Open Championship.
Yeah, absolutely.
T19 for Rory in what was a very, very weird week. I know you had some words about and for Rory.
What a crybaby. Oh my gosh.
I don't get it. I don't understand any of it. Truly.
I don't get it. I mean, I thought his Masters win would open the doors to, being some kind of liaison, I don't know. I don't know what I thought. I just thought, I thought it was going to open the doors to him playing better in these tournaments on a pretty consistent basis. That has not been the case. Played terrible at the PGA. I mean, I know he came in 19th, but it just didn't feel like he had anything going at the U.S. Open. And then the skipping the media responsibilities is, I don't know. It's weak. It's just completely weak.
It's incredibly weak. I don't understand it. He alluded to some beef that he has with the media at large, but didn't specifically say anything about it or why. I just don't get it. It's so weird. It's been even before like the driver at the PGA. I don't know.
He started getting weird, yeah, even at that point.
He was weird going into the tournament. Then that happened on top of it. Then he skipped the rest of the week. And then he had some weird explanations about it at the Canadian Open. He skipped Jack's event, didn't call him. He shows up this week and is doing this thing. I really don't.
And then, like on Saturday, he finally does media, and they're like, what are you looking forward to tomorrow? And most guys, and even if it doesn't, is not that you're what you're thinking, right? Most guys will look, going to try to come out, shoot a good round, finish strong. He's just like, I'm looking forward to playing in 4.5 hours and getting the hell out of here. Like, and it's like, dude, that's so weird. It's so weird.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to speculate on anything, but it just seems like something's off, whether it's personal life or whatever. It just seems really weird. So something to monitor. I guess I give him credit for finishing T19. Like you and I coming in this week, we were like, you know what? We think Rory's missing the cut because the vibes felt that bad.
They did not feel good. Yeah. I think he just got enough out of his talent that he made the cut, and then he's good enough to have one good round, which he had one great round on Sunday, and it popped him back up in the top 20. So
I don't know. We'll see where that goes. He's he's going back to his home country. Last time at Portrush did not go well. I'm sure he wants to show out there, but I don't know.
I can tell you this: he is not doing himself any favors for the crowd that's going to be at Bethpage. Like this crowd is just if you thought they were going to ride him hard before, it is only getting worse. It's only building more anticipation for that Ryder Cup and how that crowd's going to treat him.
Yeah, it looks like he is in the field for the Travelers. So I don't know if we'll get an update this week or what's going to happen.
Who knows?
So we'll see there. Some other notables, just some miscuts. Bryson, super disappointing. I mean, I kind of had flagged this. I didn't think he was going to miss the cut, but I was not on Bryson this week. Just didn't do anything good. He just was kind of done from the jump. JT, this felt like not a fit for him. Not surprised there. Some guys that missed that I'm a little surprised about. Tommy Fleetwood, Sepp Straka, and Shane Lowry. Kind of the European contingent of ball strikers. Just none of them really showed up. Straka definitely did not show up compared to how his form's been in the big events lately. Yeah. Fleetwood just kind of ho-hum miscut, but Lowry just completely pulled the ripcord and ejected and did so screaming and yelling along the way.
Very publicly.
Yeah.
I made a joke, I think, on our Twitter page. I was like, I think, it was like Rory smashing the T marker. I could have added the, Shane Lowry miss putt and saying get me the fuck out of here. I'm like, I think we found our next Ryder Cup course. I just when next time it's on the American soil, it's got to be at Oakmont. Just to play games with those guys if they're still on the team at that point.
Yeah. Someone that probably won't be invited back to Oakmont is Wyndham Clark. He also missed the cut. Apparently destroyed a couple lockers in the process. Just not what you want to see, especially out of a past U.S. Open champ.
Look, they weren't credible sources, but I had heard that they might have put a ban on him.
I seriously could see it.
So that's definitely something to look at if he's still playing in 2000 or whenever it goes back. But I mean that's inexcusable. You just can't you can damage damage your clubs, right? I don't care. You just can't damage property like that. And that's apparently from what I've heard is one of the nicer throwback locker rooms in the country, right? It's really nice. So to do that to that nice of a locker room, it's just that's true colors, Yeah, that's all I can say. I kind of had this feeling about him for a really long time.
Yeah, I mean we've been on that from the go here, I think so.
Yeah.
Tough scene there. He is in the field this week, so another one we'll have to see if we get any kind of update around that story. A couple things I wanted to get to before we get out of here on the U.S. Open. Some stuff we got right in our patio predictions, where the beers are cold and the takes are bold. We nailed our who will not win picks. Obviously, when you get a JJ Spaun winner, you look pretty good for talking shit about all the good players. First time major winner is one of our buy or sells, and I bought that. I didn't think it was going to be JJ Spaun, but first time major winner did come through. Winning score being under par, we kind of went back and forth on buying and selling on this one. I think I did buy that it would go under par. Now, it was one player that did it, but you know what? I'm going to count that. And another thing we got right, he didn't miss a cut, but the Rory being off, the vibes being off, we were very, very right about that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that played out the way it did. So we won't get into what we got wrong because there's probably many of those things. You guys can let us know what those things are if you want
For
to.
sure.
One and done time. We took Rahm T7, kind of backdoored our way into 615K.
Don't hate it. I look.
No.
I will take it. I will take it.
We are way the hell back still, but we will not stop. We will not give up. We got a lot of fight in us here. We've banked $4.5 million, and the Travelers Championship is an elevated event. Another opportunity to score some big money. I don't know if you looked at anything, but I kind of have. I got like 3 names here. If you want,
I'm gonna default to you. I didn't get a chance to look at anything.
Okay, so let me run through a few for you. 2 of them are kind of like the form guys.
Yep.
And the other one's more of a course history play. We could go with your boy Scam. He is coming off of back-to-back top 4s, a T25.
We need a win, Mitch. We need a win.
Hey, he came T9 here last year and shot a 59 in the process.
Well, we need a win.
There's that. He's playing some good golf. The obvious heater of Ben Griffin. His last 4 tournaments, top 10 at the U.S. Open, 2nd at Memorial, won the Charles Schwab Challenge, and T8 at the PGA Championship. Not a good history here, but obviously a vastly different player than he has been in years prior. So,
yeah.
I don't hate Ben Griffin. Last but not least, someone that I'm not a fan of, but this might be the house that Brian Harmon built. He does not have a win here, but he's got 6 top 10s in the last 7 years.
It's a course fit for sure.
Course fit wise, this is could be a place. He's not playing the best right now, though. He did make the cut at T59. No good finishes lately. But you get to a happy place, you never know what can happen. So,
if I had to lean on somebody, I'd say Ben Griffin.
I'm with you. Let's just take Ben Griffin.
Yeah,
and hope we don't flame out.
Yeah, because he's actually got to win, unlike Scam Young.
Sure. And we might be able to, sneak a Scam Young win at 3M or something.
Yeah, you never know.
Get him in Detroit or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take Ben Griffin this week. Shout out to Pat, who tried to give me the Ben Griffin win, and I did not take him. So hopefully we take him now and we actually cash in big.
Yep.
Ben Griffin it is. All right. Speaking of Pat, fan mail time. Let me pull this up. Mr. 54 wrote in to the podcast last night. Here was what he said. The Father's Day group of golfers was so much fun. Thanks for putting it together. Made the day perfect for me. Glad you had a blast, Pat. Love to hear that. His question, how many putters do golfers typically have in timeout until they decide on which one to use? He says there are currently 4 in his basement.
So I got accused of this yesterday from my dad. For the record, I used the same putter for about 16 years. Never, through thick and thin, never gave up on it. Within the last 3 years, I had a moment where I went to the stroke lab for a little bit. I went from my Scotty to the one I'm currently using, which is the 11.5 Phantom, to the stroke lab, back to the Phantom. Used that for quite some time. Got a Jailbird last year that I used for a little bit that I really do like. I'm putting well right now. I don't want to switch. Like if I start putting bad, maybe in July or something like that, maybe we'll go back to the Jailbird. But really one, I would say, is probably like a chance to go and play. But other than that, I do like committing to a putter because I truly believe that 99% of the time, but sometimes it is a good to get like a mental break from something like you've been struggling with, right?
Yeah, I think it's fair to kind of have one in the wings if you want to just be like, it's kind of like threatening the other putter, right? Like it's like, you know what, I got this right here. I could use this if
Yeah.
figure it out. But I'm with you. I had the same putter I think for 18 years, maybe 19 years.
Yep.
I had an old white hot two ball that I played since like 8th grade. I bought off the used rack at Golf Galaxy, and then 2 years ago finally got in the new version of the two ball. So yeah, I'm probably the wrong person to ask this too because I'm very much like I'm committed, and we're in this together, and we're gonna
Yeah.
have peaks and we're gonna have valleys, and that's is what it is.
I will say there is some value to having one other one just from a mental, because golf or putting especially is a lot of
Yeah.
mental, things going on. And I think like just looking down at something new, you might have a little more confidence and it might help. Right. So if you wanted one other one to have I think but like, I know guys that have like 10 that they're like, just rotate through. And I'm like, that sounds terrifying that your brain is that far gone with a putter in your hands. So, but yeah, I mean, like having one though is not a bad thing. I don't think.
Yeah, no, I do understand what you mean. There, it's kind of like that. It's like creating the honeymoon phase for yourself.
Yeah.
You've seen a different look. It gets you back out of a slump if you're in one.
I
Or
mean,
whatever.
that's what happened last year. I was putting so bad that I got that jailbird, and I was like, it just for like a month just felt good to have something else, like playing something else. It kind of worn off, and I went back. Like, I think when did I switch? Oh, I switched before the second day of the tri-state tournament we played in, and I switched back to the Phantom on the second day and putted like a god. Like it was just enough time away where I was like, oh god, this feels so good again, and started making putts again. So yeah, I think there's always good to have at least one.
This is a good time for me to put my guy on blast a little bit too. So I think it happened. Must have been last fall. We were sitting around or whatever talking about stuff. 2 years ago when Gunther and I won the Stampede, he basically took his whole set of clubs from winning that and put them like on display, essentially as like a trophy set in his golf bag that we won. And I did not know his putter was included in that. And I witnessed this man 4-putt,
Yeah, he was struggling.
do all kinds of stuff for 2 years, not knowing that he had benched the putter that he won the Stampede for us with.
What putter did he win the Stampede with?
I think it's a Phantom 5.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I found that out and was like, dude, you have to just bring it back out. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm telling you as a friend, like this has been such a bad mistake for you. And he put it back in the bag this year. Played with him yesterday. The man is making putts from everywhere. It's unbelievable.
Oh God.
It's uncanny.
Yeah.
Like, just truly wild.
I would never bench anything that's working, just for the record. Like that seems like a wild thing to do. But
yeah. So I couldn't believe it. I didn't know that. 2 years. I had no idea he switched putters.
yeah, I think what did he switch to?
I think it's a different Phantom. I don't know the
Gotcha.
specifics of it, but yeah, it was just another Phantom.
Gotcha.
But yeah, sometimes it doesn't even matter. You just, it's just that club is the one,
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised. Yeah, I would never bench anything that's working. That is would never ever do that. So
Pat, my advice is the thin the herd. You gotta weed some of these out.
Yeah. Start selling some.
Fewer choices is the way to go. You don't want to. The more choices you have, the more mistakes you can make.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
All right. With that, we are going to head over to the patio. It is Patio Beers time. Had quite a few of those yesterday. But I think you're up first this week.
Okay. All right. Well, given Father's Day, I thought this was a perfect question to ask. So, like, if you had your dream Father's Day, what would that entail? Like, complete dream. Like, what would that entail? As far as like maybe you could do the whole day, or just details of what that would what you would do.
Man, good question. I think we had like elements of it yesterday.
We did
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think maybe the only thing would be as the kids get older and stuff, that'll change a little bit. Like, obviously, I mean, you got to play with your dad and brother yesterday. Like,
Yeah,
that's, to me, that's part of it, right? Like, in the future, I could have, I've got two boys. I have my dad. Like, the four of us playing in a foursome would be ideal, of course.
yeah,
But there is another element of like spending time with your friends that are dads too, right?
yeah.
Like, I think that's an important thing too. So I think a big golf group in the morning would be awesome. We could do like a dude's breakfast or brunch or whatever, whether it's Waffle House or whatever.
Yeah, look, the Waffle House touch yesterday. It felt good, like being in there super early in the morning and
We're
getting
the only ones there.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
was
tone
awesome.
setter. It's
Yeah,
a tone setter. So yeah,
yeah,
I think like a breakfast, early morning round with friends and family. You come home in the afternoon. Maybe you hit the pool. Maybe you just go ahead and fire the grill up right away. Maybe you've been smoking something all day long. Whatever that is, I think that's the next step. And then you're watching the U.S. Open, of course. I think making sure you catch the end of that. I think the only thing from yesterday I could do a little differently is being outside more, like, because it just kind of got like steamy and gross at the end
yeah.
of the day. So I think firing up the grill, watching the U.S. Open, maybe enjoying a nice pour bourbon or whatever. Stogie, if you're into that kind of thing. Something I think I needed like some sort of nightcap last night. That's what I missed of my day to make it perfect. So
That I would say that yesterday was pretty perfect. Got to play with my brother and dad. I think I kind of missed that the year before. Actually, we hadn't played in 2 years. 3 years ago or 2 years ago, I went to a basketball camp with my daughter. But yeah, I think that was obviously having that back was very cool. But yeah, I think I woke up so early and just didn't take a rest, like no rest at all. And we actually changed up our plans. We were going to go somewhere, but just got hot. We were going to go somewhere that was outside. And I'm like, I'll be honest with you. I have like no interest in sitting outside, at a patio or something like that, like in the sun. So we stayed at the pool. But like, I just went so hard all day. Like I said, I fell asleep before. So like, I think, having some kind of nightcap, like being able to go back out, sit on my patio,
yeah,
maybe a little bourbon, a little cigar, I think would have been like a topper. But yesterday was pretty perfect. That's why I brought it up. I'm like, yesterday was like, we get done and we're just like hanging out on the patio for like an hour and a half, like, just bull crap. And it was everything. Just the only thing I wish I could have stayed awake and, enjoyed the night a little bit more. But I was just toast by 7 o'clock. I was just done.
yeah, that's same here. I was so tired. God, that's the tough part. I got the little afternoon nap in. I think that, what, if I could throw an afternoon nap into the mix, I think that was also part of this.
I think if I could have done something differently, I would have came home from golf and napped for an hour and then went down to the pool. But at that moment, we thought we were going to continue with our plans.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't really have time for a nap if I want to hop in the pool, right? So I kind of passed on that. But if I could do something different, a nap would be included in that. And I'm not a big napper, but on Father's Day, I think I could have pulled it off. So.
Right. Yeah. I don't know the last time I had a nap until yesterday. So yeah, I'm with you. Okay. Well, I told you before we came on, I did not have a question for tonight. It's been a while, but I've made my way back to the New York Times ethicist
I was
page.
waiting for
it. In this one, the title, I'm speaking at a friend's funeral. Can I tell a story that could be wrong? ?
Whew.
So let me read this specific. It's not as bad as it sounds upon reading this, but here's the what the person wrote in. I'm going to tell a brief story about my friend at his funeral. The incident happened 65 years ago. The problem is that I'm unsure whether the details of the story as I remember them are factual or just my imagination. No one who was a witness at the time is still living. Should I make this story delightful and not worry about the facts, or make the story short, truthful, and perhaps dull? So, do you just wing it and you just tell whatever the hell you want to tell? Or do you try to find the truth among this if you're eulogizing your friend?
No, because I think if you think about it, his friend probably knew the story the same way he did, right?
Yeah.
Like whether that's 100% factual or not. Well, we all know how stories go, right? Like we have stories that like have evolved, just slightly. Like, and who knows if they're true, right? Like, maybe they're not, but I mean, you got to tell the story that the way your friend knew it, right? And he probably knew it the same way you did, even though if you don't know if it's 100% factual. Where I thought that question was going was, I'm going to tell a story, and I don't know how this is going to land, right?
Yeah.
To that, I say, is really hard to be mad at a dead guy. So if there's going to be an airing of grievances or an airing of, getting the conscience clear, a funeral is 100% the place you do it. You can't be mad at that guy. You can't. So if the question went that way, I would say either way, you got to tell the story. Like, it doesn't matter if it's going to make people mad or even if it's not 100% true, but like how your buddy knew it is how you should tell the story. And I think you got to tell it with maybe some, razzle dazzle, right? Even though if it might not be true.
Yeah, I think I'm in 100% agreement here. This is not the moment to worry about being, quote unquote, right. I think you're just trying to capture the essence of the person, right? Your relationship with them.
Yeah.
So
100%.
whether that, the putt was, 30 feet or actually 10 feet doesn't really matter.
Nope.
It's just whatever the story is about, them making that putt kind of thing. So, yeah, I was as I'm sitting here, I'm just kind of thinking of like, what those stories would look like for us one day.
Well, it's so funny. Like the one I thought of, and I've embellished this too. Like when, God, I don't want to bring this up. It's such a bad memory for him. But when Gunk chunked his putt in the Stampede, like I retell it, I'm like, oh, everybody was groaning. Like, oh. And I like, that's not the case, right? Like, but I've embellished it and times I've said it. And it's gotten worse and worse, like, oh, yeah, man, dude, people were like, oh, they were groaning so hard and laughing. And like, that wasn't the case. But I think of that story, like, I know I've embellished a little bit on it. I don't know what else would be good, but
I was going to say the one that I was just thinking of too, because like at this point, who knows what's true? It's just kind of gone through the years. When we went to Ryan's house that one time for the party, and we got the plywood for the pong table, like we've told it so many times that like
it's changed every time, dude.
Did we actually see your mom at this place?
I think we did, but I'll be honest with you, I don't remember seeing her, but I think I do. But like, I'm not 100% sure I do.
Like, did we actually drive down Corin Avenue, like holding the plywood on the thing?
I can't remember. Never going to come off, right? Like, yeah, that's a story that it's like, you got to run with what we know, like, or like we got to run with all the like whether or not it's true or not. Who cares? Like, you got to run with the story the way we know it.
Yeah, and I feel like how far Ryan threw it into the woods has gotten shorter and shorter over the years. Like,
oh yeah, I know when I retell it. Like it went from like, oh, it was like 5 feet in the woods to like, dude, I think of like half of it was hanging out. What I mean? Like,
yeah,
like I know it's gotten shorter and shorter. That story is, that's probably one where it's like you just got to leave everything in, like just leave it all in.
Yeah, it's like however it comes out that day is just that's what happened.
Yeah. That's a really good one. I was trying to think of something like personally that. It just has gotten drastically embellished over the years. I don't know of a good one. I know as soon as we get off here, I'm going to think of one.
Oh, man. Look, if somehow you make it longer than me and you don't talk about me trucking a mailbox, then...
that is one. I know. I tell the story now. I'm like, oh, that mailbox like flew in the air. And Mitch kicked it, and like it's changed so many different times. Like, God, that's another great. Yeah, if I make it longer than you, that is a story that's getting brought up. Like, it has to.
Hopefully by then it's like I was like, I don't know, prime Archie Griffin running through that thing or something.
Yeah, he'd been in the gym for a couple months. He was all beefed up. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my only hope is it gets cooler, not more sad.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
All right. Man. All right, what a way to end it. Incredible US Open week, incredible Father's Day weekend. Please, if you were here still, thank you. Give us a like, follow us on social media at Back96Back. Make sure you're subscribed. Send us some fan mail. That was a good question from Pat tonight. We love those coming in, so that link is down in the show description. But Until next time, cheers.
See ya.